Hey everyone, welcome to the Work Time Fun Podcast. I'm your coworker L, and let's get started. So I started working on tonight's podcast episode, which is going to be about the Defenders, and if the first episode really drew me in and hooked me onto completing that series. But let's be real here. If you've watched through the rest of the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist even, then I'm sure that you'll watch through the Defenders just to complete this whole story arc. Even if you are new to the whole, what used to be on Netflix, now on Disney Plus, Marvel's Defenders, yeah, you're watching it through. I still want to go over my first episode kind of review here, and if it still draws me in, or it should draw, you as an audience in. But first, we got to talk about what happened last night with the Oscars, March 27, 2022, on live television. We had Chris Rock on stage. I guess he was presenting. He made some jokes, and he made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair, or lack thereof, because she's bald. And Will Smith didn't take a liking to that. Proceeded to walk up stage and pretty much bitch slapped Chris Rock. So, yeah, here's the audio clip. By the way, it's uncensored. Here you go.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? that was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay. Okay.
Honestly, at first, when I saw this video or heard about it, it was censored, so you didn't really get the gravity of what just happened there. And so I almost thought that it was just like a little gag or skit that they played on air. And then I saw or heard the uncensored version, and I was like, oh crap, this is legit, it was real. And yeah, it was taking the internet by storm, just about. You got camps divided into defending Will Smith for his actions, and then a lot of others who are condemning that he physically assaulted Chris Rock. Now, some of you may be asking, what was so bad about Chris Rock making a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith being bald? Well, it wasn't necessarily a fashion statement of Jada's, but more so upon the fact that she suffers from alopecia. Pulling up the website for the American Academy of Dermatology Association, AAD.org, comes up with this. It is a disease that develops when the body attacks its own hair follicles, which can cause hair loss anywhere on the body. So many people who develop alopecia are otherwise healthy. They have hair loss and sometimes nail changes, but they remain in good health. The hair loss tends to be unpredictable. Hair may regrow without treatment. This happens more often when someone has a few bald patches. When the hair regrows, it may fall out again, or it may not. And so many people who develop alopecia develop a round or oval bald patch on their scalp. And in one of Jada's old, Instagram or whatever videos, she explained how she had kind of bald patches right on the crown of her head, or a little bit on top. And so I guess her daughter Willow encouraged her to just shave it all off. And so she's been coping with this problem and going along with life. So I get Will Smith defending his wife for that kind of crude humor, but come on, man. Going on stage, live television, and assaulting that person for that crude joke, as bad as it is, or even not as bad if you don't think it was bad, I mean, yeah, that's still assault. There's other ways that could have been handled more professionally and more manly than what Will Smith did there. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you disagree with me? Do you think Will Smith did was okay? Hit me up on my socials, mostly on Twitter at worktimefunpod or on my email at worktimefunpodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up and let me know. Alright, enough of that. Back on the main topic for this episode, The Defenders, Marvel's The Defenders. What was so good about it, or what was not so good about it? That first episode's intro scene, you got some swords clashing between two shadowy figures. Looks like it's an underground or sewer setting, and it's okay. You kind of get it throughout the episode that was Elektra, and the other guy, you have no clue who he is. And as they're fighting, then Iron Fist pops up out of nowhere and starts trying to defend the guy, and so he fights who he knows, Elektra. And good thing it's really dark and shadowy, because it hides the fact that he's a terrible martial artist, or yeah, that he didn't train so much for it. That's on my previous episode if you listen to that. And yeah, he eventually gets his hand to glow and punch Elektra out of the way and disappear. And the guy that was fighting with her earlier, he's basically killed. Before he's killed off, he says, "Hey, your fight's in New York. Go there, Iron Fist." And end scene. Intro credits roll. You're left confused about what just happened, and pretty much just like what happened with Iron Fist series. After credits, it's the next character intro scene, and it is Jessica Jones waking up at a bar, like usual, being drunk or was drunk. And what I noticed is that Jessica Jones and I share a same superpower, that is not getting drunk from drinking and just falling asleep. And as Jessica Jones' intro scene kind of gets towards the end, it crossfades into Luke Cage's intro scene. You can easily tell because of the music that starts playing, or hip-hop music that starts fading into the scene, and with Luke Cage basically getting out of prison. What I like about this is that, yeah, it's just kind of emphasizes on the music part of what I always talked was the greatest part of the Luke Cage series. This then transitions into Daredevil, or Matt Murdock's intro scene, which is him kind of prepping for his trial, but then he starts hearing all these sounds and voices of things that are going around him, and he thinks about doing something. Then here's the police and say, okay, it's taken care of. So he proceeds on doing his trial, and winning. I actually like this little court scene sequence, and it showed a lot about Matt Murdock as lawyer, because you all know that he also shows up as Peter Parker's lawyer in the Spider-Man No Way Home movie. Then you cut into more of each character's or main character's story arcs that leads them all together later on in the episode. And Iron Fist, yeah, who cares? Then you get Jessica Jones. She gets into some weird mystery case, and then Luke Cage. Oh, what I thought was funny for Luke Cage. So as he gets out of prison, starts on the bus and heads home back to Harlem. When he pops up the bus, then Claire's waiting there. Rosario Dawson's character. She's all like, "Hey, can we get that coffee?" And bam, Luke Cage strikes again. You need a sex counter for that guy. Alright, more story, plot, or whatever for the rest of the characters. And until the very end, when there's this whole giant earthquake, this rumbling going on all over the city, and each one of them feels it, and they know something's up, something's wrong. It's not just a normal earthquake here, it's something more sinister. I like how it ends with Matt Murdock just being overwhelmed by his hearing senses of just all the panic, the police sirens and ambulance, everything just going on around him, just like everything's in panic mode. Leaves you wondering what's going to happen next. Overall, I think I was pretty satisfied with this episode. It drew in some of the best parts about each of the main characters, and just if you weren't too familiar with any of them, it gave you a little intro into each of them, and so you got to see a little bit Of course, to have better understood this show, you should have watched all of their respective shows and leading up to the point of, this Defenders team up. But as the Defenders series overall, I felt this series lacked of what it could have been. A great combination of all the characters and a story beat that could have just, almost matched an Avengers level story, but on TV format. Unfortunately, it didn't roll out that way. And just like I said in the beginning, I mean, if you're going to watch through all these characters' individual shows all the way through, even Iron Fist, then yeah, you'll watch Marvel's Defenders all the way through as well, and you'll see what I mean. Alright, so I think that's going to wrap up all those old Marvel TV shows, and I'm going to watch some newer shows that are all out on different streaming networks, not just Disney Plus, like I have been, and yeah, we're going to go from there. There are a lot of great new TV shows out there that I know not everyone has the time to devote to watching all of them. So let me do that for you. And I'll watch these shows, let you know if these said shows are worth watching. Next up, I'm going to go over the new Halo TV show, which is on Paramount Plus. So this will be interesting since I don't have that subscription, but I'll work it out, maybe get that free trial, maybe even watch Picard. Ooh, I used to be a Trekkie, everyone. So, yeah, but I have not watched the new Picard show. May invest some time with that. Oh, yeah, and then also probably the DMZ, Rosario Dawson's show on, what's that, HBO Max? So, yeah, so many great shows. So many. And I gotta start cracking at them and let you all know. Hit me up on my socials, mostly at Worktime Fun Podcast, at Twitter, at Worktime Fun Pod, and email worktimefunpodcast@gmail.com. So hit me up, let me know your thoughts, what I should be putting in the next episodes. I'd like to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. Until next time, have a fantastic day.